This is what defines the journey for most of the runners. It's the process you go through to accomplish, which at times, at some point you may have thought it's unimaginable.
Yeah.
As a part of the process for training the ultramarathon, you got to run, at times you have to clock in long runs of distance of 50, 65 kilometers.
Yeah.
How do you do it when most of us are working professionals? It means running all night in some hilly terrains of Lonavala or Satara. And that's where the community together, the essence of community comes so much alive.
What was your process like?
It's just about saying no to the non-essentials during your work routine. You're running a distance of 42 kilometers.
Yeah.
At 35th kilometer, invariably you will have thoughts of why the hell am I doing this? Yeah. And you cross the finishing line after 42.2 kilometers. You're telling yourself you could have done better. Once I did sub 4, can I get into 3:45? Can I do sub 3:30? This is how the goal post has been.
Why do you hit the road? Hello and welcome to Hit the Road. This is India's #1 podcast for all you endurance athletes. My name is Rohan Thakar and welcome to another big bang episode. Often when we are working, when we are not working, we as endurance athletes, we think about how can we, get a little performance boost. How can we have a balance in life, because after coming back, we are always exhausted. And when we wake up the next day, we think that should we go or should we not go? But I have with me someone very special, Chandramohan Mehra. He's leading one of the biggest companies in the country today as the CMO of Bajaj Allianz. And he is an avid runner, a multi-times marathon finisher, world majors finisher, very recently done Comrades as well. And he leads a very interesting life about which we are going to talk about in this episode. And Chandramohan, welcome to the show. It's so lovely to finally have you on the studio.
Thanks for having me, Rohan.
So we were talking about your lifestyle. It's something very interesting which we will of course delve into in the later parts of the episode. But after doing so many world majors and Comrades very recently, what has been your experience with running so far?
I started running in mid-30s.
Okay.
It's not that I had zero sports credentials while I was in school or college. Yeah. And I always recall this incident. In my 8th standard, you have this sports day, and before the sports day, you have this selection. The sudden students are shortlisted for the final race day.
Yeah.
So I remember that event. It was a 200-meter race, and I participated, but I had a tough time completing the 200 meters. I remember there was the number one racer, and he offered me Glucon-D.
Okay.
And I couldn't, despite that, I couldn't complete,
Yeah.
And it was sort of I perceived that as sort of a ridicule to my limited athletic capabilities. That point, I just shut off from sports and particularly running.
Okay.
I grew up as a very skinny teenager. The only way I could overcome this and build confidence is when I started gymming. I started working out a bit during my college, and I continued the strengthening through the later part of my even my early career. Mid-30s, I registered for the Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon then.
The full marathon?
No, I started with a half marathon.
Okay.
Because I built a bit of confidence while running on treadmill as a warm-up or cool-down before or after the strength.
Right.
Then I thought, why not give it a shot, and registered for half marathon.
Yeah.
This was, I guess it was 2006. And this is when I did my first half marathon.
Right.
And then for it was an experience by itself, training, and then finally during the race day.
That's almost 20 years back now.
So I did a few half marathons, and I said that's about it. Then I paused. I wasn't going to, because this is something I wanted to try it out. And after that, I switched off because there are other priorities in life. I was going again for my another higher studies. I was going to be traveling abroad. Then I paused. I switched off from running.
Okay.
This was till 2012. At 2013, my wife, she continued running. She graduated. We started running together. She graduated from half to full marathon, and she had already started running international marathons by then.
Wow.
So come 2013, she registered herself for the New York Marathon, and she registered me. I said, I've not ran for the last 5 years. He said, no, we'll figure it out. Because the New York, and as fate would have it,
yes,
it was a lottery. I got through the New York registration.
Yeah. How difficult is it to get through it?
I was lucky at that point in time. In 2013, it was the ING sponsored New York Marathon. Maybe it was their last edition or something. I got through the lottery. She didn't get through. Eventually, she made it.
Yes.
But I got registered, and she was excited because I got through. Then she said, it's a great opportunity for us to go travel New York, vacation, and also run a marathon. So that incentive of running on the streets of New York, it got my training started.
Right.
So it was 3.5 months of some training, basic training, and eventually managed to cross the finishing line of the New York Marathon. That was my first full marathon.
Right.
And after I crossed the finishing line, I said, maybe I can do better. So that's where my marathon journey really started.
Do you recollect the timing that you might have finished with?
Pathetic 4:44, 4 hours 44 minutes. I recall this very vividly. But at that time, I wasn't, the timing wasn't really on my mind.
It was completion.
It was completion. So it started with New York Marathon. Then why not do it better? Then immediately New York Marathon happened something in November something. And I thought I could do better than this. Then 2.5 months down the line was the Mumbai Marathon. So I said, I'll go ahead with the full marathon this time. I did the full. I thought I could do better and I ended at 4:17 after 2.5 months. Then that bug sort of bit me. I said, maybe I can do a sub 4.
Yeah.
Then I kept on. I was at 8. So I was running 2 or 3 full marathon races every year. Some were international runs, some were domestic. And it led one to another. Then Berlin happened. Berlin was a sort of an inflection point. I broke into sub 4.
Wow.
First.
Was it difficult to reach sub 4?
See, I was just running, so I think it is just as basic as, you just be consistent with your workouts, with the runs.
Like, was there a strategy, or it was just, doing regular runs throughout
it was a structured program. It was a structured program, but the program was largely on building mileage. And that, I guess, it helped me. That sub 2 was as a result of a bit of consistency, bit of structured program, and sort of mileage.
Yeah,
that helped me get into the sub 4 in Berlin. From there, I said, why not do now better? Can I do sub 350? And then London happened, and then Chicago happened, so on and so forth. And in those span of 3 years, I finished the 5 out of 6 majors.
Wow.
And we were supposed to, me and my wife has been together in this journey. Yeah. So come 2020 March, we were supposed to fly down to Tokyo for the last major, for the 6th. Tokyo was going to be the last, and the pandemic broke.
Right.
So it took then 2.5, 3 years to finish Tokyo, and Tokyo resumed, the Tokyo Marathon resumed, which was last year. We managed to complete the world majors.
Both of you together?
Both of us together.
Wow.
And then, Comrades was always on the mind. And said, maybe this was the time to go ahead and do the Comrades.
A lot of our listeners are coming from diverse backgrounds. They are runners, cyclists, swimmers. A lot of them are triathletes as well. But for those who don't have much idea about this side of the world, what exactly is a world major marathon?
So World Major Marathons comprises 6 international CD runs. This includes Berlin, London, Tokyo, Chicago, Boston, New York. So these are six city marathons which drop the race participation more than anything between 40 and 50,000 runners.
Okay.
And you complete this 6 runs, and you have a 6-star medal, and it's sort of a sought after recognition by most of the recreational runners to go after the 6-star medal, and it's called World Majors Marathon.
Wow. And it's within a span of 1 year?
No, there is no time limit for that.
What about Comrades? This was your first year at Comrades.
First year at Comrades, absolutely.
How's the vibe? How was the experience of running a Comrades marathon?
Interesting. Everybody who's done few full marathons should seriously give it a thought for several reasons. It's said that it's a life-changing experience. I don't know about that, but it's the process you go through to accomplish, which at times, at some point, you may have thought it's unimaginable.
Yeah.
It's a community, it's completely a community experience. Any marathon is a community experience, but this is a different tribe altogether.
How is it?
And it means as a part of the process for training the ultramarathon, you got to run, at times you have to clock in long runs of distance of 50, 65 kilometers. Yeah. How do you do it when most of us are working professionals? It means running all night in some hilly terrains of Lonavala or Satara. And that's where the community together, the essence of community comes so much alive. So it's more the process, I would say. And of course the actual race experience.
What was your process like?
My process, some of the things fell into place. I had done Tokyo at a good timing, and from there it sort of started building the base. So last March was Tokyo. Then I did Valencia last December. So there was not a full marathon. Then immediately after that, I did the New Delhi marathon end of February. And then I started accumulating mileage. So from Jan to May, I had done almost 1,500 kilometers of mileage. 1,100 is good enough. Yeah. But because of the races, etc., it built. So the base had got built. And of course, there were some downs. So I for example, I tried to run the Satara Khas ultramarathon, the 65, quite a challenging terrain, because I was so far in my training process, I was doing only flat, and Satara is where I got really challenged. The reality really hit me, because Satara terrain is a simulation of what you're going to face in the Comrades. I did not finish. This was April. I did not finish. So I gave up after 34, and that really hit me. It created sort of a self-doubt. Am I really built for ultra? Then I got the trick. It's a lot about walking on the elevations. So I was missing on that. Since I was on the full marathon, I was focused on the finish times. And completely obsessed with the finish time, and it was flat terrain, and I tried to replicate the same strategy at Satara, and that's where I got it. So then I started clocking a lot of mileage on walking, particularly on the elevation. So that is the key intervention I made in the April, and that really helped me. So April to pre-Comrades, a lot of that was walking sort of a mileage that was built. And there was some training days where those things like tranches run. So Sunday running from 8:30 to 12:30 during daytime, so that one gets accustomed to the running in heat and running in sun. Those sort of things really help me prepare for the Comrades run.
Yeah. Where does it start from?
So it alternates every year between uphill and downhill. So the last year it was uphill with elevation of 1700 meters. It starts from Durban to St. Petersburg.
Okay.
This distance was 86 kilometers this time. So next year it's going to be downhill.
Okay. So climbing uphill, like the entire marathon, I believe is an uphill battle. So Satara definitely helped you. But I'm really curious, like, you have a day job which, is very demanding. You have to travel most of the times. So how is it that you are able to find that balance in doing so many things at the same time, giving yourself time to train?
It's just about saying no to the non-essentials during your work routine.
Because this question, I'm sure it arises to a lot of people, like, if we have to train for a marathon, there has to be, how will I be able to do it? My work schedule is this. I have to drive from this place to this place every single day. I don't have any energy left. Like, what is it for you that, it kept you to keep moving forward?
It's all about, as I was saying, it's all about saying no to the non-essential things.
Okay.
And if you're able to do that, you have to identify what are the non-essential things. Of course, the work, family takes a priority, but you got to figure out what is that you want to eliminate in your routine, so that you follow a certain process about whatever it is, nutrition, your sleep time, so on and so forth. Once you are able to crack that, and one can achieve a balance, enabling to accomplish all goals, your work related goals, your family, or your passion goals, whatever.
Can you take us through your process? Like, how did you manage to achieve this? Because like half marathon manageable, you give out a couple of maybe 5 to 7 hours in a week and you are able to do this. But for something like Comrades, it's much more demanding. So what was your, how did you balance it out?
See, it wasn't really a significant shift from what I was already doing for my preps for my full marathons. So that routine was anyways had sort of was
a part of your life.
Ingrained for years.
Yes.
Because I've been now running the full marathon races with a certain goal of finish time for the last several years, including that in pandemic.
Yeah.
So that process was already defined. I had to make some additions in that process while balancing other things. Example, I had to, for some period in my Comrades training, I had to insert a lot of walking in the evenings to accumulate a certain mileage. So I had to figure out, immediately coming back from work and clocking in that extra hour of walking. All I'm saying is, if you're already doing a certain, if you're already into running marathons and races, preparing for Comrades is not a big shift in your routine. Hence, everybody who is doing full marathons should definitely give Comrades or ultra marathon a shot.
So this brings me to my next question. What does a week in Chandramohan Mehra's life look like?
Very boring to some, to many in fact. My workplace is in Pune. My family is in Mumbai.
Yeah.
So by and large, weekends I'm in Mumbai. Monday morning 4:30, typically I leave for my work from Mumbai. Monday happens to be the rest day. I don't run. But regardless of days, I crash by 9:30 max. 9:30, 10 is the outer limit. I sleep by 9:30, 10. Yeah. But before I go to bed, I ensure that my training bag is packed. What it means is the pre-workout, post-workout nutrition, so on and so forth. My running shoes, running gear, etc. is all in place. So I do that. I've been doing that religiously, and then morning, invariably 4:30, I wake up. Then it follows by the pre-workout nutrition, and I do a lot of foam rolling and stretching before I step out.
Okay, that's every single day.
Every single day.
Okay.
And typically I drive down to my place where I start the run from. I drive 10 to 15 minutes, and that's where the music is my real solid pre-workout nutrition for me. And then with bit of dynamic stretches, etc., and whatever is the workout I finish. Typically I finish by 7:15. Then with a bit of post-workout nutrition, I head back home, breakfast. On my way to work, I definitely stop by for coffee. I'm office by, let's say, 9:30. Typically it starts. And then typically the day ends at roughly around 7:30 or so. I drive back home, and I've got solid 2 hours window to catch up on everything, including screen time, chatting with family, whatever I have to do, bit of again some sort of stretch, and then I crash, come what may, by 9:30. This is how it's very boring.
Where are the social calls?
So the way it works is then I look forward to weekend coming to Mumbai, which is where my family and my running friends are.
So your social activities involve or revolve around running itself? Running,
totally. So largely the Sunday morning long runs are followed by breakfast with the friends. So that's the big socializing window one has. So largely this is how it the week unfolds.
Your job involves a lot of travel as well. So how is it that you are able to be able to train at the same time attend to the work demands as well?
So a bit of adjustments, and if I know I'm going to be traveling, then I accordingly change my training schedule for the week, and I'm not hung so much on I had to do all the tick marks or whatever is prescribed in the training regime. Work definitely takes precedence.
Right.
So if I have to skip, I don't dwell much into it. If it's not possible, it's not possible. Otherwise, I try and I'm always reconfiguring my training plans. If I were travel tomorrow, and if I was having a tempo run, I see that I finish it a day before, or I reconfigure that I come back and do it the next day.
Interesting. You earlier told that your wife also runs. Right. How is it that you both run together? Is there a different of course not a lot of couples run together, but you are one of them. So how is it that is it a competitive nature, or is it collaborative?
You can't compete in a long distance running. Everybody is running their own race.
True.
With their own goals. I don't run with her because my training is somewhere else. It's somewhere else. We both have a different styles of training. I like to run solo. She is far more social than I am. She likes people around. It's very different. But we exchange almost every day. How's the workout been? Almost all the races we signed together.
Oh, wow.
She was nursing an injury, hence she couldn't run the Comrades.
Okay.
So maybe we don't train together. The goals or the race, we run same races.
Which brings me to something that I've been keen to ask you. Like you have been running for the last 18 years, or more than that now, rather. How has your goalpost shifted from each year, like what was your mindset at that time when you began versus what is it now?
I wouldn't say mine is any unusual journey in terms of setting the goal post. See, every runner goes through this mindset. You're running a distance of 42 kilometers.
Yeah.
At 35th kilometer, invariably you will have thoughts of why the hell am I doing this? Yeah. And you cross the finishing line after 42.2 kilometers. You're telling yourself you could have done better. Let me now train better to get a better finish time. And this is what defines the journey for most of the runners. I never had finish time when I started the journey. So first one, as I said, it was 4:44. Then it was about, can I do sub 4? So once I did sub 4, can I get into 3:45? Can I do sub 3:30? This is how the goal post has been.
Okay.
For the last year and a half, I'm stuck at 3:20. So it has been 3:21 in Tokyo, 3:22 Delhi. I want to break into 3:20 now. Under 3:20 is my goal.
Okay.
And I'll just aspire for that. That just keeps me excited, on my toes. That's what I look forward to the next day morning when running, because I have to break that. I have to break into 3:20. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but that is what keeps me glued into. It keeps me involved. I like to have a sort of a slightly stretched goal.
Yeah.
Then it makes the journey worthwhile, or at least that keeps me going. And currently my goal is to just break into 3:20, get close to 3:15 is my immediate goal.
And hopefully sub 3 very soon.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. How is this lifestyle affected, or like what we do essentially is a part or a reflection of what we do professionally as well, in a way, subconsciously. Has the running aspect affected your professional life as well?
Absolutely, in a positive way. It just keeps me focused. I'm able to appreciate the value of time much more than earlier. Keeps me energized. I have a great run, walkout. Go back to the office very energized. I find myself ideating, collaborating far more powerfully. It feeds into my professional life. That is priority. So in a way, I'm doing to be better at work. This helps me be a far more better energized professional. So to my mind, both feed into each other. You have a great work day. It feeds into your next day workout. You feel good about it. You're doing your drills and your training far more intense and better. Your great workout, it feeds back to your work.
Yes.
And I'm fortunate to have discovered this passion, which allows me to do my work in a better way.
Ever felt like taking a break for some time?
No, I may reduce the intensity, but I can't imagine myself going for weeks without running. And particularly, I realized that even after Comrades, while I was completely fatigued for the next 2-3 weeks, since it's advisable not to run, I felt that. I can't imagine myself just going to completely zero or breaking. So as long as I'm enjoying, for me to be able to enjoy for a prolonged period, it's important that I reduce the intensity levels and mix it with something else. For example, now I've started focusing on strength, and bit of mobility has far more increased than it was when I was completely in the race mode.
So we are just coming closer to the end, and I wanted to ask you a few quick questions.
Sure.
So the first is the must-haves in your suitcase when you are traveling.
Running shoes for sure.
Okay.
Protein shaker. And then I have my portable music speaker.
Okay. How does the plate look like for you when you eat, when you have your breakfast, lunch or dinner?
Largely it's boring. So it's egg whites, chicken and some rice. I just repeat. That's all.
Don't get bored with it?
Sundays is where I when I indulge. But it's just simple to execute.
What would be a cheat day look like for you?
With a lot of sweets added on the plate. I like tiramisu, coffee ice cream primarily.
Your go-to snack in the pocket?
No, there's nothing. But I look forward to micro breaks where I get to have black coffee or kadak chai. I'm just looking for opportunities where I can just take a micro break.
Running on hills or running flat?
Hills is extremely meditative.
Why is that?
Hills, of course, is accompanied by great scenic visuals.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you're forced to slow down. And that's why it becomes that much more meditative.
Running alone or going with a group?
They say you have to run for long, you have to run together. You have to run fast. You can be alone.
Which ones do you choose when?
I prefer running solos. But Comrades taught me.
Yeah.
If you have to go far, you have to do it together with people around.
I have a friend, Nikhil Kapoor, who also is based out of Pune. He runs the Atmatan resort. So when I had interacted with him, he told me that your social circle is your currency to move forward.
Completely.
And they are the ones who, in subconsciously will, tell what your life choices or your, effect on life would be.
Totally, Rohan. You are an average of the 3 people that you most hang out with. So choose who you want to hang out with. Simple.
My last question is, why do you hit the road?
Because jungle beautiful hai.
Awesome. And what's next now? What's next in the plan?
Next, if I have the choice, luxury, I'd like to repeat the majors again, improve the finish times. Again, do Comrades and keep doing Comrades as long as I can.
It was lovely chatting with you, Chandramohan, and I hope that we can have something like this very soon once again.
Same, Rohan.
And that's all, listeners. We'll be back very soon with more such episodes, bringing in exciting people, sharing their stories, sharing their learnings along the way, and inspire you to take on new challenges for your athletic journey. That's me, Rohan Thakar, signing off from Hit the Road. You listen to the show on Epilogue Media app, which we have recently launched, and also you can also, of course, subscribe to on Spotify, JioSaavn, Gaana, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast from. Goodbye.